Good afternoon. It's September 20th, 2020. This is episode 20 of Rob Explains, your daily podcast discussing and explaining cool, random, and interesting things. I'm Rob. Thanks for joining me. For this episode, I'm going to play a trick on you. But right after, I'm going to explain how the trick works. I want you to look straight forward. Whatever is in front of you right now, just take it in. Now, I want you to realize that the largest and most prominent feature of your face is directly in front of you, and yet you can't see it. However, now that I've mentioned your nose, you probably can see it creeping in at the edge of the periphery of your vision. So why is it if you were just looking forward, you couldn't see it, but once you were told to notice it, you could? Let's do something else. Close one of your eyes. Now you can see it there at the edge of your periphery vision. Close the other. Now you can see it again at the opposite edge of your periphery vision. But when you open both and you attempt to focus on something in the distance, it just seems to disappear. Why is that? Well, it's the same trick that helps people with glasses not actually see the glasses. And there are three different things at work here. But I guess it's time for me to reveal how the trick works, right? So first, your brain is unbelievably complex, and it is taking in all sorts of information. But it would drive you insane if you had to process all of that information all the time. Think back to any of the versions of Spider-Man and Peter Parker as they begin to understand and develop their powers. One of the things most frequently shown is the overwhelmingness of all of the sensory input. They can see better. They can hear better. They're hearing conversations all over. They can feel the textures of a table. That is exactly what your brain is receiving all of the time. And it just chooses to ignore things that don't seem to matter. Now, that being said, you may, because of your field of focus, see everything in the far off distance as a blurry melange of colors. But I can guarantee you, if an object began moving quickly through your field of vision in your direction, you would immediately see it. Despite the fact that everything in the background is just a blurred mess, because that object is now traveling in your direction, your brain moves its category from don't need to worry about this to something bad might happen, and it draws your attention. All of that information, the sound, the view, maybe even the smell or the feel of the wind on your skin, all of that will now change focus to this object that is incoming towards you, because your natural inclination is going to be to protect yourself. Well, you don't need to be protected from your nose, and it is always there. So your brain will just naturally choose to ignore it. More importantly, it doesn't block out the same part of your vision in both eyes. Going back to the one eye closed, one eye open experiment, you'll see that if you close your right eye, it fills the bottom part of vision on the right-hand side. And if you close your left eye, it's the left-hand side. Because we have bifocal vision, your brain essentially will take any data from that overlapped area and only use the one that it has good information for. So if it's blocked from the right eye, it ignores that data and only produces the data from the right eye. If it's blocked on the right eye, it ignores that and only produces the data from the left eye. And it does this automatically without you doing anything. And because the nose is, again, always there, always blocking the same field, it becomes very easy to forget it's there. Now, because I've been talking about your nose blocking your vision so much, you may actually feel as though it's more impeding on your vision as we discuss it. And that's because, much like realizing you haven't taken a breath in a while or thinking that you haven't, you'll start to notice your breath more often and feel like you might be out of breath. When those automated processes are taken over by the voluntary processes of your brain, it starts to have a harder time hiding the things that it usually hides. So the second factor is the fact that it's on the periphery. We will naturally eliminate data that is on the periphery of our vision. It would, again, be too overwhelming to take in everything in our field of vision. So the brain is meant to focus on the things we are focusing on. Right now, I'm focusing into the center of a light on a blue LED that is shining telling me a camera is working. And I know that behind that camera, there is an entire room full of things that I could be focused on. But because my attention and the focus of my eyes is on that blue light, everything else is just kind of blended out, especially on the periphery. But again, if I draw my attention to the periphery, even without looking in that direction, for instance, if far off to the side, a red light turned on, despite the fact that I am focused directly in front of me, that red light would then appear in my vision because it's different and it's changed and it could require my attention. And the brain has adapted to allow that to now draw my attention without my focus actually turning in that direction. And the third reason that you can ignore your nose on a day-to-day basis is because it is so close to you that it's likely very out of focus. Again, even if closing one eye or another, you can't clearly see your own nose. And because it's out of focus, the brain will naturally push down that data in favor of more focused data. Now again, if I look down my nose, I can still see it. It's a little more clear. The overlapping data is out of shape and it doesn't show the true view of my nose, but it brings it into more focus. When I look straight forward again, it once again nearly disappears because it's so on the periphery and out of focus that the brain says this must not be important. So hopefully I haven't cursed you for seeing your nose for the rest of the day, but now you'll know the answer to the question, why can't I see my nose when it's right there in the middle of my face? Thank you for joining me for this episode of Rob Explains. Look for new episodes daily wherever you listen to podcasts, and subscribe to make sure you don't miss an episode. Do you have a subject you'd like me to cover or just looking for more Rob Explains? Find us online on all social media at Rob Explains. Got a comment, question, or query? Or did I get something wrong and you want to correct me? Shoot me an email, rob@robexplains.com. Or you can leave a comment down below. I'll check those right after the show goes live. And you can send me a message, anchor.fm/RobExplains/message. And in the form of a voicemail, I can actually include it in a future episode. Once again, thank you for joining me. Until next time, this is Rob. Take care of yourselves and each other. Have a great day.